It's 40,000 people, and they're cheering you on.
Bruce Springsteen. And these are the songs.
Just want to check your rate today. It's slightly slower than normal. Is everything okay?
Hello and welcome to our film show here on Arts 24, where I'm joined by our critic Emma Jones to look at some new releases this week. Hi, Emma.
Hello.
Now, first up, we have Dwayne Johnson's Oscar-tipped performance in The Smashing Machine. Perhaps not something we ever thought we'd be saying about an artist formerly known as The Rock.
Indeed, and that's no offence at all to the actor who's brought about $3.5 billion to the box office and counting. But that's a figure that The Smashing Machine by Benny Safdie could really only dream of. In fact, its box office so far has been a little bit disappointing where it's been released. But Dwayne Johnson said it himself, that this was the first film he's made where he didn't have to think about its profitability. So The Smashing Machine is a world that he knows well as a former wrestler himself. It's the life story of MMA champion fighter Mark Kerr. It's set in the 1990s. It's co-starring Emily Blunt, who plays Kerr's partner Dawn, and it tells the story of this fighter's painkiller addiction and his efforts to get free from it. So it's not a standard in-the-ring biopic at all.
OK, interesting. Well, let's take a look at the film and hear from Dwayne Johnson on how challenging the part was for him.
Well, have you ever heard of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, the UFC?
That's the bloody thing they're trying to ban.
This guy is the best he has ever seen.
Come on, baby. Too much?
Never.
Too much?
No.
Please welcome in his octagon debut, Mark Kerr!
Winning is the best feeling there is. It's 40,000 people, and they're cheering you on.
That inner critic that I have, doesn't go away. I think that we all have. That's something we have to wrestle with, no pun intended, something we have to contend with. And that inner critic can be loud and resounding. I had to face my fears, and I didn't know how I was going to do it. All I knew is I needed people around me who I can trust to jump off the cliff with. One was Emily, and the other one was Benny Safdie.
More of a challenge than I might have imagined then. The film won Benny Safdie Best Director at the Venice Film Festival, and the reviews hyped Dwayne Johnson, as I mentioned, as a potential Oscar nominee. Is his performance really that good?
Well, both Johnson and Blunt are impressive in this film, and I really would expect Emily Blunt to be a Best Supporting Actress contender. She does not play a standard supportive girlfriend character in a sports movie at all. Now, you could argue that, as with Lady Gaga in a film like A Star Is Born, Johnson's hardly breaking a sweat playing a wrestler. However, I really was impressed by the stillness, the interior life he brought to this character, and there's a suppressed rage in Mark Kerr, you know, that's underneath all the politeness he constantly exhibits. So well beyond a normal fight film, and I also like Safdie's fly-on-the-wall direction. If Johnson does get this nomination, it will be huge news. But I'm actually also intrigued by a potential battle of the directors, because Marty Supreme will be coming out soon. That's Benny Safdie's brother Josh's movie with Timothée Chalamet, also hotly tipped for award season. Could get interesting.
Yeah, all tense, depending on how you see it. Well, to a release now from last week, and that's Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, from director Scott Cooper, starring the Bears' Jeremy Allen White as Springsteen and Jeremy Strong as his manager, John Landau. Now, this is a story based on the 2023 non-fiction book by Warren Zanes about the boss, Deliver Me From Nowhere. And the film was authorised by Bruce Springsteen, although he wasn't a producer on this one. Let's take a look.
These new songs, they're different, but they're the only thing making sense to me right now. The only thing I can still believe in. Then we'll get it. Whatever it takes.
Well, they blew up the chicken man in Philly last night. Now they blew up his house, too.
This is a highly unorthodox career move.
That's the point. He's channeling something deeply personal. But in this office, my office, we believe in Bruce Springsteen.
Everything dies, honey, that's a fact.
So, Emma, this is all about the making of the 1982 album Nebraska, an unplugged, unpublicised album, which, of course, came before the 1984 album Born to Run, which then propelled him to global superstardom.
Yeah.
Did you like the film?
You know what? I did. And for any eye-rolling that this must be this year's version of the Bob Dylan biopic, A Complete Unknown, starring Timothée Chalamet, well, this is different. This is a specific year in Springsteen's life when he was coming to terms with a difficult childhood relationship with his father, and that influenced the album Nebraska. And Springsteen was struggling with his mental health, with depression. The result is a melancholic and delicate film, and it's far more about fathers and sons and hometown elegies than knockout tracks, really. You will get a respite with a goosebump-inducing version of Born in the USA that Springsteen records. And what is knockout is Jeremy Allen White's performance as the boss. And Springsteen actually gave him a guitar to learn on.
Wow, what a gift. Also a bit of pressure as well, though.
Yeah, slightly.
Well, let's hear it from Jeremy Allen White and director Scott Cooper.
I understand the concept of singing. I've been a fan of music and singers, but the guitar, I remember holding it in my hands for the first time and trying to wrap my fingers around the right strings for the chords, and it just feeling like completely alien to me. And it was such a humbling start where I was really like, I have no idea how in 6 months I'm going to be playing anything that sounds good at all. And but like anything or any skill, it's just time and repetition, you know.
This is not about either one of us. This is not about the charts. This is about Bruce Springsteen. And these are the songs that he wants to work on right now.
There's a real striking resemblance to Bruce in 1981 and 82. And he has a humility that Bruce has, but he also has something you can't learn in acting school, and that's swagger.
To mention also the strong supporting cast in this movie, from Adolescence's Stephen Graham, who plays Springsteen's father, Odessa Young's in it too, and Jeremy Strong, who was Oscar-nominated last year for The Apprentice, plays the ever-faithful and very long-suffering manager, John Landau. Just do not go expecting Bruce Springsteen hits.
Yeah, I'm sure you can get them on a vinyl record at home. Well, moving on to a debut feature now from Laura Carreira, who's a Portuguese filmmaker living and working in Scotland. It's called On Falling. I think you really loved this film, didn't you, Emma?
Yeah, I really rate this movie. So if you are missing Ken Loach, because of course he hasn't directed in a while, then Laura Carreira's film might be for you, because he is actually an executive producer on this devastating film. So Portuguese actress Joana Santos plays Aurora. She's an immigrant worker in a Scottish Amazon-style warehouse. The film is about her loneliness, her lack of connection, as well as, in fact, the misery that her job creates.
OK, sounds quite timely. Well, let's take a look at This Is On Falling by Laura Carreira.
Hi. Right. So it is an interview, but it's just a chance for us to get to know you a bit.
My name is Aurora. I work in a warehouse as a picker. I just do the usual, I guess.
Hey. Hi.
And you?
When you're not at work, what sort of things do you like to do?
I am the man with a van. And you, what do you do?
I'm a woman with
Now, Emma, you mentioned Ken Loach, and it made me think of the 2019 film, Sorry We Missed You, about the grimmer aspects of the gig economy, that sort of precarious work. Are there echoes of that here?
Yes and no. You really see the infantilization of workers in this so-called fulfillment centre, where Aurora's offered a chocolate bar as a reward for a week's hard work, but also they're constantly and quite creepily monitored for their performances. It also shows the financial insecurity she experiences because she breaks her phone and the bill for repairing that wipes out her food budget for the month. She slowly and horrifyingly goes hungry, but she also goes numb because of the lack of humanity and dignity in her job. So Carreira's observational storytelling without dialogue is stunning. Now, she is a director to watch.
Wow, sounds really poignant, yeah. Now, finally, we're going to Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, starring Jacob Elordi, Oscar Isaac and Mia Goth. This is, of course, based on the 19th century Gothic novel by Mary Shelley. The film premiered at the Venice Film Festival. It's released on Netflix on November 7th. And the Mexican director has been saying this is the film he wanted to make all of his life. How did you find it?
Well, as you'd expect from the director of Pan's Labyrinth and The Shape of Water, it's incredibly emotional, visually exquisite to look at. Del Toro had vast, complex sets built to avoid CGI as much as possible. Every shot is very considered. It's also bone-crunchingly graphic and faithful to the original novel because Victor Frankenstein, played by Oscar Isaac, makes the creature from scavenged bodies. But modern psychology informs the story. So Frankenstein, who has parental issues himself, rejects the creature, starting off another cycle of family rejection. Jacob Elordi, who plays this creature, plays him as very gentle, thirsty for knowledge and for affection.
And a bit of a departure for Jacob Elordi, who we're used to seeing in more classically handsome leading male roles. In fact, he was talking about that transformation at the recent premiere in London.
The physicality was such a fundamental part of mapping his sort of growth from nothing into a fully conscious, understood human being. And then the makeup chair, was anywhere from 5 hours to 11 hours, which was the perfect amount of, meditation to be able to settle into something other than myself.
And later this creature morphs into quite a superhero type who manages to withstand bullets, which I thought was a shame, really.
Wow, but quite contemporary. And of course, this is Netflix's big hope for the awards season. Do you think it will do okay, considering it's going to be up against another fairy tale style film, which is Wicked 2, of course?
Indeed. Well, both Jacob Elordi and Oscar Isaac in particular put in some heavyweight performances. For me, though, this has the look and the sweep of an epic fairy tale, but it feels slightly empty underneath, and I'd preferred something a bit edgier, because if both Frankenstein and his creation are the victims of generational wounds, then man is no longer really the ultimate monster. Where's the gothic horror in that?
True, but less cinematic. Indeed. Thank you so much for the roundup, Emma, this week. We'll leave you with a bit of that Frankenstein. You can weigh up just how chilling you think it is. Here's a preview of the film. Do join us next time here on Arts 24 for more movies, arts and culture. There's more news coming up just after this.
And I saw it. Your name. Victor Frankenstein.